Welcome to the Programming Alliance podcast, where we are on a mission to build strong young patriots. Today, we have an emergency episode. We had a lot happen in the last few days, including an assassination attempt on former President Trump, as well as a couple of posts that went pretty viral with the kids in them, and some of the feedback we got in there is very related to the culture wars. Woo.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Little Ric Flair to start. Okay. Let's get into it. So the first topic is Trump's assassination. We were in a unique opportunity to be able to see right after it happened. We literally got a text pretty much within seconds of it happening and hitting the news. And we turned on the TV. We were at home, and so we were able to see this unfold on the news. I want to hear from you what you thought of this. This is a historic event, probably something that you will never forget in your lifetime. There are certain events, like for me, 9/11. I'm curious, what's your take from Trump getting shot at?
I feel like it was crazy and scary. Because, I mean, once he got shot, it was about maybe like an inch from his tumor, which could have killed him instantly, or the head.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm glad that it hit his ear, and I'm glad that he's alive.
Yeah.
Though I also heard that 2 people in the background got hurt, and one died saving his family.
That's right.
Which is pretty sad, scary, too.
It's incredibly sad.
It's insane.
It is insane. What does it tell you about this country you live in?
That they consider all possible measures to get someone that they don't want to not do something.
Yeah.
Our country's now using a lot of violence to make the people or a person who they hate not do what they want them to do.
Yeah.
So they're using guns, whatever.
There's a lot of people that don't like Trump. You've heard some of the things that people have said about him, including current President Biden, referring to him as Hitler, a threat to democracy, and somebody that must be stopped at all costs. They have tried to slander his reputation, tried to throw him in jail, and it's almost like none of these things worked. Now they've tried to kill him.
Crazy.
It's pretty crazy. There's a lot more to come from this. There's a lot of scrutiny being put on the Secret Service, a lot of investigation looking into this and the individual that shot at the president. So more to come, I guess. So with that, let's move on to the culture war stuff. And Trump's assassination is kind of related. Extreme divisiveness in society. We've been at the heart of this on a few of our posts and commentary. We started this channel on a mission to be able to speak truth, talk about issues, policies, cultural dynamics, and put our opinions out there in hopes that we could build a community that would resonate with others, that could feel confident and stand up for traditional conservative values that lead to productive outcomes. We spent quite a bit of time yesterday as a family sitting down and talking about, because we've had some pretty nasty things come into our thread and our channel and our comments. Tell me a little bit about that and how you feel about what we're doing.
We have a lot of nasty comments and a lot of good comments. I hate to see that there is more nasty comments than good comments. Thanks for supporting us, for the people who actually watch us. They're you're doing great and all that. Thank you. But it's just crazy. The nasty people are just way more than the good people in this world right now.
Will, any thoughts?
I think that we're doing the right thing. Stuff that we brought up yesterday was that if we do keep this up, right, then there's that chance of losing friendships or possibly jobs and stuff. So that was the big thing that we talked about. But I like this, and I still like keeping my what I think. So I'm still gonna do this.
Yeah, so long story short, we decided we're going to keep this channel moving forward, but we went over the benefits and drawbacks as a family in a lot of detail, and we thought deeply about it because there really is a war going on, and it's a culture war, and as Max said, we're getting swarms of what I would say culturally repulsive people that will come into our threads and have a lot to say. Meanwhile, a lot of other people, I think, are just sitting by and being complacent, and we don't really want to sit on the sidelines and be complacent. I'll touch on a couple of things in terms of why I think it's important that we stand up for our rights and why I think it's important that the kids are part of it. Ultimately, if you have to betray who you are, if you can't say the truth about what you think, that's just not freedom. That's not America. And if that hampers your ability to have a friend or have a job, then that's probably not the friend or the job that you're going to want long term. It's more important to be true to yourself and true to your values. Now, we certainly have values as a family, and maybe people don't agree with that. But what you can hopefully understand and appreciate is that it comes from a good place. We have good intentions, and we want the next generation to be successful. And these two boys are part of that generation. And we need strong, confident young people stepping up, putting their thoughts out there, or this contagion will continue to infect future generations. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people just are lacking the courage to stand up for what they believe because they get attacked by the hive. It's uncomfortable because then you got to argue with people, or you have to stand up for your rights and explain them. Ideologues on the other side are very aggressive. They're very assertive. And those that believe in freedom are generally sitting back and saying, well, I just don't want to fight. And at some point, you need to stand up against evil or bad ideas. If you don't stand up to bad ideas, they'll ultimately control you. Society is absolutely drifting this way. They're winning. They're winning. So speaking to any conservative value parent kid out there, the woke ideologies in the universe are winning. And we'll show you evidence of this, but they are winning in social media. They are winning in terms of being assertive, organized, aggressive. This also means that Marxism, communism, socialism, all of these destructive forms of policies, government, ideas are coming into our society, right? And we know how these turn out. We've seen it over the last couple of centuries in multiple places, and has led to death, destruction. And we don't want that. We want America's freedoms to continue and prosper. Yeah. And we are not intimidated. I'm proud of these boys because we talked about it, and it would be okay if they didn't want to get involved in this, but they do. And ultimately, this will callous them. This will put adversity into their lives. And so as they get older, they will be prepared to be leaders. Without further ado, let's get into
a small comment reaction.
Yeah, let's get into some of the content that we've put out there. I think it's also notable that we talk about the strategy behind some of our content. We are a channel that is trying to build young patriots with a productive mindset. So, how do we do that? We provide value. We have a podcast. We have really interesting guests on our podcast. And that's really where most of the value comes from in terms of what we can learn, what tips, tricks, hacks, life experiences, mindset we can instill and grow with our audience, okay, in that community. Mm-hmm. The other part of the strategy, though, is you need traffic coming to your channel. We're a small channel. We're growing. One way to get traffic is you've really got to put out bold, in some ways, controversial hooks on some of your content so it gets traffic in, and then when that traffic comes in, then people see the value, they start rallying around your community. So we have put out a number of reels or short form videos that we might call controversial, so we'll go through some of those, but they have, let's say, controversial hooks, and they're really intended to either use satire or pinning a couple of ideas against each other to help people think and then ultimately engage with us. It's not meant to be hateful. If it comes across, obviously that's not our intent. But let me go through a few of these so we can explain why we put out a couple of these posts. Let's start with an analysis of a post that we had about body positivity. However, the hook or the thumbnail said, should we bring fat shaming back? Right? So it's a pretty controversial hook. It got a lot of clicks, brought some attention into that reel. Now, obviously, we don't encourage fat shaming. And on our channel, we don't criticize individuals. We definitely criticize ideas, policies, ideologies, that kind of thing.
Definitely.
But not people. We try not to make it personal here. Same in the comments. We get a lot of really nasty comments. We stay out of the personal realm in terms of making personal attacks to people. So I can play it quick.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
Can we bring back fat shaming? I mean, it was okay for the unvaccinated to shame them, and yet obesity is the biggest health problem facing the country today. These body positivity groups are just lying to people. And let's face it, truth is compassion.
In this clip, what do you take away from it? I say, should we bring fat shaming back? And then I compare that to the unvaccinated, because we really shamed the heck out of them, right? When people didn't want to get a vaccine. And then we reference the fact that obesity is actually like the biggest health epidemic that we have in this country. Further, we talk about body positivity. So the post is really about body positivity and these body positivity groups being counterproductive for the biggest health problem that we have in society. So that's what it's about. They came in hot on this one, boys. Body positivity is lying to people. We
Yes.
should be encouraging people in the right ways to go to the gym, eat healthy, not encouraging people that you look great as a super obese person that is very unhealthy and is probably going to shorten your life. It's going to probably require you to be on medication, dramatically impact your quality of life as you get older. So as a society, we should be encouraging healthy behaviors.
I saw a couple of the comments that you showed me, and they're pretty. One is very disgusting, and that's the one that mostly brought my attention.
You remember what it said?
Yeah.
I got it right here. It said, this guy
This
is
guy's bleed.
unitless. His unit is so small. Why don't you take a picture of your thing and put it online so that we can shame you for it? And so I replied and said, I would love to, but the algorithms would take down the post, but perhaps I'll consider an OnlyFans account. Meanwhile, that was all I said to this.
Weird guy.
That's a pretty weird comment,
Yeah.
right?
We wanted to have a comeback.
Yeah. We could have had some other comebacks about this, but again, we try not to make it personal, right, boys? We could have had some, because this is probably a very big person that probably hasn't seen their own unit in a long time,
Yep. Your unit.
but didn't go there. We
Haven't
took
seen
the
it.
high ground, as they say.
Anakin. It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
All right, so we had a lot of that. So that was one post that got some pretty negative feedback. I can understand why people might be offended by it, but look, we're trying to call out this destructive behavior of normalizing obesity. Next one.
Did the Avengers really destroy all the Infinity Stones, or did the LGBTQ get a hold of the Reality Stone? Think about it.
All right, boys, what do you think of that one?
That's pretty funny.
I mean, yeah. I feel like my personal thing is that LGBTQ plus IA, whatever, got the hold of it.
You think so?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny too. It's obviously got a little bit of humor and satire in it, and we brought in the Avengers and the Reality Stone. The whole idea behind this is that the LGBT community is trying to bend reality with men that can be women, genders that are fluid, pronouns that are plural, things like that that are essentially bending reality. So the joke is, did they get the Reality Stone? The number one comment that I got back on this was insinuations that I am gay or trans or whatever. I thought this was super interesting. Do you guys know the term irony?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah? Will, you're familiar with it? It's when you make fun of something that you defend or embody yourself, maybe. In terms of irony, and why I think this is ironic, is this group is defending their rights to be and live as they are. Meanwhile, they insult me with slurs against their own group, which I find to be interesting,
Pretty
right?
hilarious.
So in a lot of these, I would reply with, is that an insult or a compliment? Because There's nothing wrong with that, right? So let's talk about how we feel about the LGBT community. Do you guys have anything against gay people?
No.
We have empathy and we care for all people.
Yeah.
That's our value system.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some highly counterproductive ideas that come out of this group. Influencing children, putting dudes in girls' sports, putting dudes in girls' locker rooms, encouraging doctors to mutilate and transition people prior to entering adulthood. It's unfortunate because I don't think that fraction of the community that is pushing all that stuff represents the entire community. For example, like the LG part of it. But nonetheless, they have gotten all kind of squished together into this acronym. But, okay, so I got a lot of slurs for looking gay. Apparently I look gay, or my hairstyle looks gay, or whatever. That's a compliment then, right?
Yeah,
Right?
you look happy.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, they're happy.
Yeah. And then the other things that I got, it was a lot of name calling in terms of being a bigot or being a homophobic or being a transphobic. The other feedback that we got on this, guys, I thought was fun, which is they said, hey, the Avengers aren't even real. What I think is interesting about the Avengers isn't real comment is that's part of the joke, right? If I dress up as Tony Stark,
My Tony Stark.
am I Tony Stark? What do you guys think?
Well, I guess in modern day world, yes.
Okay. And if I dress up as Captain America or the Hulk, am I actually the Hulk?
No, you're not actually it.
No.
No.
But
no.
if I had the reality stone,
Oh, good.
then I could be, right? So essentially, that's the irony of this whole situation. All right. You guys want to take a look at another controversial post?
So I can't be president because there's an age restriction on how old I have to be. But with older people, you can be as old as you want and be president. They haven't even played Fortnite and got a victory royale.
Tell me what that was about.
Well, that one was about where, for some reason, an old 80-year-old could be president, but not someone that's very smart like me, who is 12. I can't be president.
Yes. And as you guys know, there is an age restriction. You have to be at least 35 years old to be able to be president of the United States. But there's no age limit on the high side.
So you can be 120.
Now, we got a bunch of comments on this one, William, that said, I'm grooming you.
What?
Do you feel groomed, or like I forced you to say this?
No, I really wanted to say that.
Okay.
And, yeah, like I personally think it's unfair that I cannot be it, but Mr. JB can.
Yeah. And for the record, we go over topics that we're going to put into these reels in advance, right? We talk about them together. You guys bring some to the table. Like this was one of those. I might help you craft the message a little bit so that it's more clear, concise, or whatever. Anyway, William, this was your idea, brainchild. So we put you on the post. And a lot of people had nasty things to say maybe about me, not so much about you, but me in terms of grooming you or using you as a political pawn to get this message out. I don't know. Like personally, I don't think this is like a weird message. It's like you can have ancient people running the country that have never won a victory royale in Fortnite.
I know.
I think that's relevant.
Yeah.
Or like, think about this. I think when we were talking about this idea and putting it into a reel, one of the topics you guys brought up with me is you have grandparents, right? That are younger than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see them? And we love our grandparents, but can you see them running the country?
No.
Heck no.
Okay. They're great people, but having the energy to run the country when they struggle to like download apps on their phone, right? In the modern world, you should have some relevancy. And so that's really the point here. Hopefully it sparks some thought process in terms of, yeah, maybe we should have age limits. We have people going into politics with no cap on how long they can be in there. It used to be that public service, being a politician, was that. It was a public service. It wasn't meant to be a career. Now we have politicians going into government, come out incredibly wealthy compared to what they went in as. And then we have people like Nancy Pelosi is probably the most famous in terms of using information and becoming extremely wealthy through the stock market and influence that they're able to peddle. then that keeps them in government. And then who are these people going to look out for in terms of the policies that are passed? Are they going to look out for people closer to their age or people closer to your age? What do you think?
Probably their age.
Yeah.
Exactly. We could use a 12-year-old in office because you'll put in policies that are good for your generation. And these ancient people are putting in policies that are good for their cronies, their people, and themselves. So what's done is it's kicked the can down the road. It has lit a huge fire under inflation, and that is crushing your generation. We got to rethink term limits. Okay.
Yes.
Definitely.
All right. And last but not least, this one went bananas. Let's play it.
So how does Pride Month get a whole month and Independence Day only gets one day?
Approximately 10 hours later.
When we talked about this topic to put into a reel, what was the intent?
The thing is I'm mostly asking a question, but people come at me like I'm hating them. I'm hating on the community, even if it's just a question.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at a question. And then also, here's another thing. Pride Month and June, everyone puts pride like a rainbow on their logos during the month of June.
Yeah.
During July, the 4th of July, there's no American flags on any logos, which I'm very confused about because it's America, our country.
It's okay to ask questions. Asking questions shouldn't be hateful. And this was a question that you guys asked me in terms of your observation. It felt like we celebrated pride more than patriotism.
Yes.
So that's why we put it out.
There's-
Now, absolutely, we celebrate patriotism, especially our family. We wave flags outside, all this, and we can do that. We have the freedom to do that all year round. But I think what you guys were bringing up was that, gosh, corporations change their logo to a rainbow. I don't see them changing their logo to stars and stripes. Netflix or HBO, they've got a section for pride, and pretty much most businesses do something like this. And so you had a reasonable question, which was why are we celebrating that more than patriotism? And patriotism, it's pretty obvious. These are related to people that fought and died for our freedoms and all the things that we enjoy today. And you could say that maybe the pride community folds under that. They're able to have the same rights as other people in this country because of freedoms that fell under our flag. And that didn't always occur, but ultimately, we usually get to the right answer in terms of equal rights for people in the country, whether it be gay, straight, female, male, black, white, etc. Right? What do you think the pride flag stands for?
Pride flag, mostly, I feel like every color means a certain gender.
How would you summarize what their group is proud of? What are they
They're
proud of?
proud of
their
gender.
genders.
Yeah.
They're proud of their genders. Okay. Yeah. They would probably say, well, they're proud of overcoming being oppressed and adversity of their sexual orientation. Okay. But yeah, I think a lot of people would say it's related to pride of their sexual orientation, whereas patriotism is pride for your country and her freedoms. So I don't know. It's kind of a legitimate question. So let's talk about the comments for a minute.
Oh, no.
Whoa. I mean, the one that we saw.
We had some pretty wild comments. Let me read the best one. Is
Like?
this an ad for abortion? Can we do the kid and the dad, or is the 70 to 600 month consideration too late? From dog trainer Noah. And it got a bunch of likes. Isn't that interesting? How do you guys feel about that? Basically, wishing us to be unalive.
I mean, if he's I'm not putting. He wished I was dead, and you, Dad, he
Yeah.
also wishes you were dead too.
Yeah.
And that's just weird. Just because we asked the question, he thinks it's an insult, and he wishes we were dead.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't say he's coming after us, but definitely seems like he feels that we'd be better off if we weren't here, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want it, but I want it.
I definitely would not trust that dude to train my dog.
Yep, me either. We also had a number of gay insults towards both of us, Max, that we love the
Seriously?
rainbow. Oh, yeah. Gay,
Oh
so
my
gay insults
God.
against us. And again, I was like, well, what's wrong with that? Communities seemingly
I mean,
throwing insults at their own kind or group.
I'm just a kid. I am just a kid.
Yeah.
I'm just a kid.
You don't even have a girlfriend yet, Max, right?
Yep, I don't even.
And then I had somebody else come in because I left a comment in that said, hey, kids asking a question or pondering something isn't hateful. It's intended to spark some thought. And grab some popcorn, read the comments, and make your own determination in this thread. Who is bullying and spewing hate?
And
then I got a response. This gentleman responded back. I'll paraphrase just a bit. The gentleman said, "You're really stupid and have a low IQ. Why is that?" It's not hate. I'm just asking a question. And so I replied and I said, hey, I agree. It's not hate. You are asking a question and I'm okay with that. And then he replies and says, you agreeing with it doesn't mean it's not hate.
Duh.
So then
He just says
That
not hate. Now
confused
he's
me.
saying it basically is hate.
this was a gentleman, I think, that is into cats. Okay, his
God.
profile is like cat something. And then, of course, we had a lot of people that were coming after me for indoctrinating you and basically putting you on camera and using you as a political pawn. That, yeah, we're indoctrinating you in hate. What do you think about that, Max?
I mean, that was our decision to make that video. And he's not indoctrinating us. And he's not trying to use us as a political pawn. We wanted to do this to make USA better and the world better.
We literally helped Dad come up with this idea of the podcast.
Yeah.
People probably thought I made you say that too. So, any rate,
What?
a
No.
lot of people said I'm indoctrinating you, and then other people chimed in with related comments that your kid is going to hate you when you get older. They are going to resent you. Good luck on your future. You're doomed, Max. They insulted your IQ, Max, as well.
Ooh.
But don't worry about that. One lady said, or one they them said,
Hey, them.
I can tell that your kid hates you. I don't know how they can
What?
tell. Yeah, they think you hate me, Max. Maybe you do. I don't know. What do you think?
Let's hug on camera.
Come on, baby. Maxie. All right.
I'm alone.
So I think I have a pretty good relationship with the boys, but I appreciate everybody's concern that my kids are going to hate me someday. So that's the kind of stuff that came in. And I would encourage people, go check out these posts, look at the comments, and make your own determination of who's bullying and hateful. Because at the end of the day, this group is aggressive. They're like a swarm of hornets. And when you poke the nest, they come out. They're very organized about it, too. They share forward posts. And then the same, what I've noticed is anything anti-LGBT that we put out, the hornet's nest will come at us. The same people will kind of come in. Another theme, the profiles of these individuals, typically they're part of the community. They have plural pronouns. A lot of them have anime profile pictures.
And
Yeah.
it's disgusting to me.
Some interesting profile pictures, people in leather chaps and things like that. So yeah, we should totally like look at them for the moral high ground. That's great. Any rate, at the end of the day, we try not to take comments too personally, but I do think the themes of it are interesting. It's helping us to understand what we're up against in the culture war. So
It's going to take a lot to beat them.
yes, they're winning.
They are.
I think there's no doubt in my mind that they're winning, which is
Join
why this generation has got to step up. This was an interesting week. We had some controversial stuff. We went over it here. Go check out our material. Like, subscribe, share it. We're going to continue to do what we are doing because we are on a mission to do what's right
Yep.
and be true to ourselves and our community. So until next time.
Goodbye.
If you enjoyed the show, help us out. Like, subscribe, share, leave us a review. Until next time.